Hey guys, Buckeye Bar Guys. We wanted to thank you guys for tuning in to us here on Buckeye Bar Talk. Great show we got coming up today. We're really looking forward to you guys listening and watching it. But just wanted to remind everybody, just remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the all notifications bell, and that way, anytime a new show comes up, you guys will be alerted to it. And don't forget to like the video and comment on the video. All interactions with us helps us continue to grow, and we appreciate your support. Now to the show. Welcome back, everybody, to Buckeye Bar Guys here on Buckeye Bar Talk. I'm Mike.
And I'm John.
Today's date, Saturday, May the 22nd, 2021. Beautiful day. We've had a beautiful week. Ohio, it's you don't ever get a spring. You go from like winter to full-blown monsoon season to now we're into 80-degree weather. So I love the warm weather. It's felt really good this week. I wish I wasn't as busy at my day job as I've been. We get to enjoy it a little bit more, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
work is work. And
well, just hopefully being in Ohio that it's not down in like the 30s like in 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I don't think it will be. Usually now this is where we have turned that corner.
I hope the cycle's broken and now we are in summertime. Yeah. So hopefully it stays like this.
Yeah. So we actually have a pretty fun show today. We've had obviously it's been pretty slow now that we're past the draft. Not much Ohio State news has come up. I mean, the only things that came up this week is Gene Smith got a contract extension, so he's going to be there for a few more years. I don't have all the details, and I think he signed through 2026 now. So
yeah, that sounds right.
And they got the salary was up to like $2 million now, I think they said. So I know sometimes Gene can be a lightning rod. I've thought Gene has done an excellent job, minus not taking a bowl ban when he should have took a bowl ban. But outside of that, I mean, Gene's been a pretty damn good athletic director, so it's good to see. So I'm happy about that. And the only other thing that really happened, at least of noteworthy thing, is they basically rescheduled the home and home series with Oregon for early 2030s. I think it's like 31, 33, and then they're paying Oregon $3.5 million to keep this year's game. So they will keep the game. Oregon's still coming to Columbus. They're going to get a boatload of cash out of it. So you don't usually see a Power 5 get that type of cash to come to a game. But Ohio State's expecting they will be at full capacity, and should be pretty much a pretty easy payment for them to make. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. And it's good that they got the game back on in Oregon, because I know their fans thought that they were going to get one over on us last year when we were traveling on the road.
Yeah. So
good to give them that opportunity, even though it's in like a decade or so.
Yeah. All right. So basically what we're going to do today is we've decided just to do fun episode. We're going to do a draft. So we're going to do it's a all decade team. So 2010 to 2020. And basically, we flipped a coin earlier. John won the coin toss, so he will get the first pick. I will actually pick first, though, so I'm going to pick my coach. I will get the coach I want the pick, and then John will get his pick. A player is the first pick, and then he will pick at the same time. He will also pick his coach. So that's basically how we decided to do it. Basically, you need in that time that 2010 through 2020, you need one quarterback. You need 5 offensive skill players. So any combination of tight ends, wide receivers, and running backs, however you want to set it up, that's your call. You need to pick an entire offensive line as a group. So it goes by year. So, you just pick a year within that time frame, and I want that offensive line. Same thing goes with the defensive line. You pick a year, and you take that defensive line. And then 3 linebackers and 4 guys in the secondary. We're not going to break that up, cornerbacks or safeties, 4 secondary guys. So if you think there's a corner that you think could be a hell of a safety, you just pick what you think the 4 best. So, and we're all and we'll pick these guys out. So we'll get going. I've decided, trying to, not guess who John's going to take with his first pick. So I'm going to choose Urban Meyer as my head coach. And the reason why I'm picking Urban is I just think that, urban legend, man. So going with the Urban, pretty excited about that. All right. So you get to pick a coach and your first pick of the draft.
All right. So this is regular season 2010 through regular season 2020. So for those that don't know, Jim Tressel is still in play here because that was his last regular season was 2010. So all those guys from that, that Sugar Bowl year, they're around.
Yeah, they're allowed to be in that. There's no
right.
There's no giving the season back on that probation period.
No. Yeah, they're not forfeiting their right to be in this draft. So I'm gonna say Ryan Day as my head coach. I mean, that's kind of with Tressel out there. I don't know. I mean, I'm confident in it though. I'm gonna say Ryan Day because my first pick is going to be Justin Fields.
All right.
That's his quarterback, so that's the way I'm going with that.
This is good because it's why I picked Meyer, because I figured that's the way you were going. Probably was the way I was going to end up going. So, all right. So my first pick, you got Justin Fields out there, throwing the ball. I think you need to have a good corner. He needs somebody needs to intercept those passes. Justin doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, but Jeff Okudah, I think, the best of the best there. So that's who I'm going to go with.
All right. Well, so at running back, I'm confident with the people that they have out there. So I think I'm actually going to make sure that Justin gets protected. Now, there's a couple different ways we can go with this. What I'm concerned, and I know it's who he already played with, but I just think if you look at the decade, you only had 1 year that you had 2 top tackles out there. And that's why I got to go with the 2020 offensive line.
It's a good O-line.
I don't think Harry Miller is enough of, and I don't Harry's not enough of any sort of, issue that would scare me away from that. I have confidence in him. Definitely Josh Myers and Wyatt Davis. They both got drafted to the NFL. So yeah, I'm good with that.
I like that. I like that pick. 2020 was going to be pretty much one of my 2 or 3 lines was going to be 2020. So, I mean, they're phenomenal. The group from last year are phenomenal. I'm going to go with, I'm not too concerned right now about taking a quarterback. I know who I'm taking at quarterback.
And you don't really got much competition because we don't have 2. We're not doing depth charts here. So
yeah. So, I'm going to take a Zeke. I'm going to take, the pounder in the backfield. I think in this time frame, he's the best running back that's been at Ohio State. And I mean, everybody loves Zeke. I mean, 85 yards through the heart of the South was, still one of the most memorable plays in Ohio State history. So, definitely going with Zeke there.
All right. So I liked what you did with the cornerback, trying to shut my QB down from his past game. I don't know if I want to go receiver yet then. So you know what? I want to make sure I have a good corner on my team too. So let's go Marshawn Lattimore. Because you're going to pick a QB eventually, and he's going to have a lockdown corner on your number 1 receiver.
All right. So, trying to think which way I want to go. All right. Well, I took you got that 2020 offensive line in there. You got Justin Fields. I think I got to take a defensive line at this point. I need and I'm going to need your help on this one though, because I can't quite remember the years. 16 or 17, the true, is it the Rushman package? The 4-4, the.
And I think you're thinking of 17 because that's when you have Nick Bosa, Hubbard.
Yeah.
2017.
I'm gonna go with the 2017 defensive line.
That's the one I wanted.
The Rushman.
Mm-hmm.
And
you got Bosa, you got freshman Chase Young there. Of course, you got Jalen, Daquan, Hubbard. You got Draymond, BB Landers.
Got to get some people to go after Justin with.
That's a stacked line. I like that.
So I'm going to go with 2017 on that one.
All right. So Jeff Okuda. Now, he is a lockdown guy. I'm going to have to go with a guy, though, that, you know what? Justin likes throwing the deep ball. Let's get the best deep ball receiver, Devin Smith. It might be a reach at wide receiver 1, but.
Yeah, that was surprising you're going with that one. I figured you would go with one of Justin's surefire targets, but you mean it's still good. You got 5 of them there. You get
Devin Smith runs down and catches the deep ball just as well as those guys. So
that's true. All right. So I'm trying to think which way I want to go. On this one, I think I'm going to go with another skill position. I think I'm going to, at this point, kind of who I'm leaning for at quarterback. He played that one season at wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not ready there. I'm going to go with Michael Thomas.
That's a good one. I mean, I thought about that. Michael Thomas, to me, though, is like, it's so much NFL production, and he was great in college, but it's just like he could have been a little bit more. So I kind of stayed away from that one when talking about this. Ryan Shazier.
All right. Shazier is the man.
Someone's gonna, you know what? Shazier is as tough as they come. He can cover, but you're gonna need someone that's tough as hell to go after Zeke. So
yeah. Shazier was definitely on my list. He's probably overall the best linebacker that they've had in this decade thing. I mean, guy was a freak.
Oh yeah.
And he was.
That's why, yeah, for sure.
And you imagine if he would have still been there for the national championship run, because
Yeah. Think about that.
If he would have decided to come back, now he made the right choice.
Him on the other side of Darren Lee.
But that would have been just crazy to think about. That could have been a possibility. All right, I'm going to go with, you got Ryan Day as your head coach. Justin Fields is your quarterback. I think I need to go with another guy in the secondary. And trying to think, I'm going to go with, Hooker,
Marcus, right?
Marcus Hooker. Yeah.
Malik. Yeah. I'm just messing with you. You meant Malik.
I can't think of their names half the time. The hooker that, doesn't have DUI problems and,
Hey!
Sorry.
Throwing shots there.
Sorry, Marcus.
You gotta just,
I know, seriously, I hope he comes back. I hope he gets the help he needs and he ends up, being able to come back to Ohio State. But, Malik, he caught everything that was thrown at him. And, I think he's take away some stuff from Justin there.
So my next one, I'm going to go with the guy that can prove that, because Ryan Day likes to throw the ball. I already got the guy to stretch the defense, but can also, make that catch in the end zone. Now I need a guy that can do that stuff, but also can do the stuff in the middle of the field, run great routes. So I'm between a couple guys here. I'm going to have to go with Garrett Wilson, though, because he's just a little bit more athletic than like your KJ Hills that you've had. So he can do a little bit more. So I want Garrett Wilson to be my number 2 wide receiver.
It's actually the guy I was getting ready to select here. So, it's a good selection.
Thank you.
Devin and Garrett Wilson with Justin Fields throwing them the ball. That's a nasty combination. I'm going to go with, to the other side of that, Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas, he could be, even though he is, he's on the outside, but he ran great routes. He runs great routes to the middle. So I need somebody on the outside that could really, kind of stretch the defense. So I'm going to go with Olave on, I think and Olave, what he does good, he can also run great routes. He does the crossing route just as good as anybody.
Sure.
He can, take the top off the defense. And, I'm going with Olave on that one.
All right. So you got you got some serious dudes now at receiver, so I'm going to need another shutdown guy. So give me Denzel Ward.
Good pick. Was considering him there when I took Hooker, that he was my second corner. That I thought maybe should I go with the two corners, but I had to lean with that safety at that one. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take I'm gonna take Darren Lee. I think he's
I wanted to pair him with Shazier.
Darren Lee, he could do everything. I mean, he was. I don't think a lot of people remember just how good Darren Lee was on that national championship run. I mean, everybody said, he's too small. He would never be able to play, tackle people. Dude could come up and smack you right in the mouth. And,
hell yeah.
He had a heart. He was just feisty and he was mean. And I loved Darren Lee. And, he had a swagger about him and he backed it up. And, I remember them, making faces at Mark May, him and Zeke, after beating Alabama and stuff. And so Darren Lee.
Yeah, and I mean, do you remember all the plays he made that 2014 year too? I mean, kid was incredible. And
did he have 2 touchdowns?
I think he definitely. I know he has. Yeah, I think he has one for sure. I mean,
he has one against Michigan, but did he have one against Navy too?
I know he definitely gets a fumble recovery against Navy. That's the one I was thinking about. If I wasn't sure if that's a touchdown or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of it was almost like this year, because I don't think since Darren Lee, I don't really think we've had that great blitzing outside linebacker since him. But they kind of got it figured out again with Baron Browning. So hopefully, that's something that they can keep building on with the years to come. Okay, so. I mean, I know you can't really take him off the board yet unless you're going with take him as another skilled position, but let's get J.K. Dobbins on there.
Yeah, I was always thinking I was debating whether to go 2 running backs or have 1 running back. I mean, I was thinking probably 1 running back is, the smart way to go,
Well, unless you take with Urban as your coach, there is a guy out there that.
Yeah, I know. There's some things. I know who I'm taking at quarterback, so I'm picking quarterback last. And I know who I'm taking at offensive line, so I know those are my last 2 picks. I'm gonna take Braxton as a wide receiver. He played wide receiver 1 year. And the guy I'm thinking about at quarterback, you kind of need a freak out there that could do freaky things too, because your quarterback's going to be a freak. So yeah, I'm taking Braxton.
You maximizing your offensive put out there.
Yeah,
huh?
You got Urban Meyer's the head coach, and Braxton can kind of be the Percy Harvin in this style of offense.
I like that. Day is a little bit more traditional with play calling, so I'm going to take a tight end. So give me, I got to take Ruckert because he is the most talented as far as playmaking of the tight ends we've had.
It's a good pick.
But Hireman, it's a hard call. I mean, Hireman's, he could certainly do a lot of the playmaking. I mean, I think Stoneburner was still there in 2010. He could do a lot too. It was just, he is the best when it comes to that, but there's a hell of a lot of choices there.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to take another, I think, secondary guy, at this point. And I'm going to take, Sean. I'm going to take Sean. I think he could play outside or he could be a safety. Now you got Ruckert. I need somebody that I think could take some of the middle of the field away from people. So I'm going to take Wade.
Okay. So I'm going to go safety then. Give me Von Bell.
Von's an excellent pick. I'm going to take Conley at this point. That I'm going to I think he's the next best corner
Okay.
they've had. And, I don't want you going on me to do that Jeff Halfley 3-1 thing with, and then, really taking all my wide receivers out of the mix here with 3 unbelievable lockdown corners.
So I guess this one's hard because one got drafted higher, but I think one's actually better. I'm going to say give me Bradley Roby for my last secondary guy.
Yeah, Roby, it's funny because they've had so many good corners and
you've been spoiled so much since
over the last decade. And, he's right at the beginning that you kind of forget that Bradley Roby was in this, this decade. And then he actually played for Urban. And, it's funny. He is like the forgotten man, but I think he's still in the league, isn't he? Like,
yeah, he's somewhere
he's bouncing, but he's still playing. And yeah, he's a hell of a guy. I'm going to take, I'm going to take Quan with my second linebacker pick.
Rayquan Mcmillan. That's a good pick.
I always liked Rayquan. I thought he did a pretty phenomenal job. He was better than I think he at first he kind of got buried a little in the depth chart. I know they split a lot of times, him and Curtis in the national championship season, but by the time he got drafted, he was the man there. So yeah, I like him, and I'm gonna go with him.
All right, my second linebacker, give me Pete Warner.
All right, Pete's a good pick. Pete's I know sometimes I did it early in his career. You kind of lump Pete in with Tough.
People thought they were the same person.
They kind of looked like the same person at times. But I like Pete. I think he's a good pick, and I'm gonna finish off my defense. Then I'm gonna go with Jerome Baker, outside backer.
Damn, I forgot about Jerome Baker. That's a hell of a pick.
Yeah, I like. I think a lot of people forget how good Jerome Baker was, and so
I forgot all about him. I can't believe that.
I think that's a nice linebacking crew. You got Quan in the middle, and you got 2 excellent outside backers.
Well, my next outside backer, he might not be as athletic, but give me Malik Harrison.
All right. I like Malik. I like Malik a lot. He was, he was kind of him and, Barron and Jerome were kind of all like grouped together. Their possibilities, my outside backer and that thing, and the reason why I went with Baker is I just think that he ended up doing a little bit better than Browning ended up doing by the end of his career. Now, that's taking nothing away from Barron. I thought he did fine. I don't think he's a bust by any stretch. It just, I guess for the hype level, Jerome's hype level was just different. And it just seemed like for the hype level, you got more out of Baker than you ended up out of Browning. So I think Harrison probably fell in between the two of them for me. I think if Baker wasn't here, I would have taken Malik as my second guy. Yeah. He did everything for you, man. Malik
Harrison was a monster.
He had just some phenomenal games. And, you think about some of those bowl games and some of the big games against Michigan. He could do anything for you on the field. So that's a good pick. I'm going to add a tight end to the list. I'm going to go with Stoneburner. I think the guy I'm thinking about at tight end, they've played with each other, and pretty sure. And
they did, yeah.
So I think he was kind of another one. He could go out flex. He could play right on the line. He was a decent enough blocker. And yeah, I think he fits in pretty well with this offense.
I would have went Hireman, but
I like Hireman too. I think Stoneburner, I don't know. I thought he was just a little bit better.
That's fair. All right. So what do I got? A defensive line.
You gotta go DL. You have one last,
skill player.
Skill player.
So skill, I'm torn on this one because I really like Curtis Samuel because he can do so much for you. But then there's another guy that can do a lot for you, and he can just run like crazy. And I'm going to say Paris Campbell here.
I like Paris Campbell. That's and under a Ryan Day offense, he's just a perfect guy. You know, he runs those he can run the crossing routes. The end around against Michigan is still
Fields could do that little pop pass to him.
That's just it's a great pick there. All right. I mean, I know that I'm going quarterback. I'm going TP and
shocker.
And before anybody, you could have had Braxton at quarterback. You could have had Dwayne at quarterback. I mean, the reason why I didn't take Dwayne is I kind of assumed you were taking Ryan as your head coach you would want, even though it was my choice, but then I'm assuming you would want Justin Fields. I mean, Justin Fields is the best player that's played, in my opinion, in this decade for Ohio State. So I think whoever was the quarterback, and Justin Fields could have quarterbacked in Urban Meyer's offense.
Could have quarterbacked any of their offense.
Like if I would have decided to take Ryan Day, there's still no doubt in my mind you would have took Justin. And the only way I would take Dwayne as the starting quarterback is if I was then taking Tressel or if I had Ryan Day or Tressel.
Or if we were building depth charts.
Yeah.
Too deep.
So, and then I just think Terrell with the skill positions that I built is just perfect with Urban. And so, I think that, he was a freak too. He could do all kinds of, different things from running the ball. I mean, he didn't have the greatest throwing motion in the world, obviously, but you know what? The dude was pretty much unbeatable in big games when,
right.
Yeah, he lost a tough one to Wisconsin, but he almost brought him back in the fourth quarter. Yeah. And, and I know a lot of people that freshman year lost to Penn State, but I mean, he was undefeated in bowl games, right? Or
he lost to Texas as a freshman.
But I mean, his big bowl games. I mean, that was a big one too.
He took over though, mostly the first half against Arkansas in that Sugar Bowl because Arkansas almost beat him at the end of that game. But Oregon, and he was hurt against Oregon, and he took over in that game.
Yeah. All right, so you get a defensive line. Who are you taking?
Well, actually, can I tell you, if you would have taken Ryan Day as your coach, TP would have been my first pick.
Really?
Yeah, TP would have been my first pick with Urban Meyer.
No,
he was born to be Urban Meyer's quarterback.
Yeah.
He was meant to be an Urban system.
Yeah. I just assumed you would take Justin, and that was
the only thing though that Urban would have ran him so much that it wouldn't even been something you would have it wouldn't have caught you by surprise anymore. It wouldn't have just been a breakdown on a play that Pryor made you pay for it because you over pursued or you missed him or you couldn't take him down. He would have just been he would have ran him like Tebow.
Yeah, but he was such a big and powerful dude.
He was faster than Tebow. So, I mean, he definitely could have done it. It's just, it probably would have happened a little too much that I don't think it would have been as effective as how Tressel had him as a quarterback some of the time. I think under Urban's system, he would have been a better quarterback. He would have been great.
Yeah.
He was great anyways. Like you said, he just took over those games. So yeah, I mean, if Urban was my coach, I would have taken TP first.
Yeah.
All right. So I need a D line.
Yep.
Shoot, man. Give me 2014. National champions, Michael Bennett, Diesel, Joey Bosa, shrugging when he sacks people.
I like
Steve Miller Band.
Those really was between
pick six.
That was my second choice of defensive line. I like the 2017 line just a little bit better, especially with what you had at Justin Fields. But 2014 would have been my next choice. I mean, they won the title, man. They were freaks, and they ended up doing really well in that playoffs, and they were very dominant, and
I still say Michael Bennett's the most underrated defensive lineman I've ever seen in
Michael Bennett
down the stretch of a season.
I mean, if we actually would have we were thinking about maybe it gets a lot into the weeds if we would have broke down, actually picked individual linemen on both lines. it was the original thought, but I just thought that maybe to move it along a little faster, though, just do the yearly lines. But Michael Bennett, after taking the defensive end, I would have wanted to take. I mean, Michael Bennett probably would have been my second pick on a defensive line because he was just so unblockable that, I mean, you think about, BB and Davon and some of those, that was Michael Bennett all rolled into one. Right. Those guys. I mean, he was big and strong, but he was also fast as hell. And, he was just, and then going down that stretch, Costa, that was really big for him.
That was his buddy.
And, but he played like just a man possessed those last 3 games. I mean, he was basically the offensive or the defensive version of Zeke. I mean, those two guys just played like there was nobody could take them on. And,
they played every game like there was no tomorrow.
Yeah. And so, I mean, even more than Cardell and, Cardell is always going to go down in the history books as that's the guy that, won you the national title. That I've always thought that those two guys more than anybody was just that's just what the end of that season just came down to is just, play like there literally is no tomorrow.
Right.
Basically it was no tomorrow. They had a play-in game to get into the playoffs and then, they want to win a national title. So a lost Alabama doesn't do them any good. And then after beating Alabama, you better go beat Oregon. So, that's that was just, what a great season. And then going off the 2014, thought process, I'm going to go with 2014 as my offensive line. Just because I thought that by the end of the year, I probably would have picked 2020 too. I like 2020. I also like 2012. I think a lot of people forget how good 2012's offensive line was.
Oh, yeah.
And,
2013 was good.
Yeah. But 2014, by the end of the season, when you think about Zeke and just running down people's throats, a lot of it has to do with that offensive line. And they
mean as hell.
They were mean as hell and they were so dominant. And it's just funny when you think about just how Virginia Tech dominated them. The second game.
Right. Exactly.
Season,
yeah.
And they were just, what a year that they ended up, that transition.
What did Bear get sacked like 6 times in that game?
Yeah.
Or 5? It was crazy.
Yeah.
Through 3 picks, 2 picks.
So when you think about that 2014 line where JT had to make a lot of improvement after Virginia Tech. He did. But if the offensive line, if they never would have improved, they would have lost 3 or 4 more games, probably. Yeah. They probably would have lost 3, maybe 4 games for the season.
I mean, you definitely would have lost to, Michigan State. I mean,
Michigan State would.
You don't want to say definitely, but
Michigan State probably would have beat them. Penn State might have beat them.
Penn State played out of their mind in that game.
So, they would, that would probably in Happy Valley, if the offensive line never made any improvements, I think Penn State would have beat them.
Bear gets hurt in that game.
In Happy Valley. And I think Michigan State probably would have beat them in East Lansing.
That's would have been some hard games on the road with a bad line.
Yeah, so that's just my opinion. So we'll throw, I know we moved through these pretty quick. We'll throw these up on Twitter once we post the show, get everybody's kind of thought processes, who they would pick. I mean, I think we both have some really good teams here. I mean, for what we both selected, I mean, I think we have the right coaches for,
Right. Now, what I see though, we're looking at this and what comes to my mind, what I think is we just drafted each of us probably 22 of the best Buckeyes over the last decade. And I don't know with who we had in secondary guys, if we could be beat, but the guys that are still out there, I think that someone else could draft a team that could even play, that could still play with us as Jim Tressel as the head coach.
Yeah.
There's still, that's how dominant Ohio State's been, how just spoiled we've been as fans, just the riches of this team, that there are still players out there that could put up a hell of a game with what we have.
There's still good offensive lines out there. Like I said, 2012, 2013 you mentioned. So yeah, you could put Jim Tressel as a head coach, throw Dwayne Haskins as his quarterback, which he would have done fine in Tressel's system when you think about how good Troy did. And, you got
KJ Hill, DeVere Posey still out there,
Yeah, exactly.
Hireman, we mentioned Curtis Samuel, Carlos Hyde. Like, you got so much still out there. Eli Apple didn't get drafted.
Mike Weber. I mean,
Chimdi Chekwa. Like,
yeah, there's some big time players out there.
Ivis Powell.
Still, you still have some really good defensive lines out there. I mean,
linebacker might have been a little thin, but you still have like Worley. You got Josh Perry's out there.
Yeah, you got some linebackers out there.
There's still linebackers
that
out
could.
there.
I mean,
Brian Roll, I think, is the middle linebacker in 2010.
Yeah, you got what's his face, Curtis. Why can't I think of his last?
Curtis Grant.
Curtis Grant.
Yeah, I mean, Doran Grant and Curtis Grant are out there.
You still got those guys out there. I mean, there's some secondary guys. I mean, we took the best, but there's
still guys out there though
that could play. I mean, yeah. So yeah, exactly. That is how spoiled we've gotten, and I mean, these are teams that I mean, they'd be very formidable. I mean, only maybe in the best. I mean, I don't even think the best Clemson team of the decade could beat.
No.
I mean, you'd be looking at the last several years, but I think these two teams are better than what you could come up with. And
absolutely.
The only one, probably the best Alabama team of the decade would be.
Well, Alabama, yeah, you could probably.
But that might be a pick 'em. Like,
well, I mean,
there's some really highly.
I'm sorry, I still think Justin Fields or Pryor's your better quarterbacks, and then I know you could say you could put Tua in there, but
yeah, Tua's probably would be right there.
AJ McCarron. He won a couple rings.
I know. I think people make bigger deals about AJ than he was.
I mean, I wouldn't say Mac Jones. I know a lot of them would after this year,
yeah. But I like what we did here. I thought it was something fun. Just
slow time of the year.
It just, like I say, it is a weird time of the year, and
not a ton churning right now in recruiting. So,
and I mean, hopefully, we know the dead period's getting ready to lift. Hopefully, we get some sort of decision with JTT here shortly, whether good or bad. I just want that to be
just
over
be
with.
Done with it, but we want good.
Yeah, exactly. I want him on the team. I want him playing for Larry Johnson, but. Like, it's just been such a crazy thing.
Long process, long and drawn out.
That, it seems like, a couple of the things, between the new CDC guidelines, what, the governor said earlier in the week, it seems like, I know the Indians have already, I don't know about the Reds. I know the Indians have already announced that they're going full capacity here.
Reds
at the beginning
did too.
Of June.
Yeah,
so,
Reds did too.
So, I mean, it seems like we're getting back to as much as normal. We're heading down that road now.
I mean, Ohio Stadium's got to be full capacity.
It seems like it will be. It seems like that they will be at full capacity, and assuming both the Browns and the Bengals will be too. So it will be nice to, even though, I'm not planning on going to a game this year. I mean, unless something comes up, but it'd be nice to watch full stadiums again on, I
wonder how crazy they'll be. I bet it'll be the first whiteout in Happy Valley is going to be a madhouse.
It'll be so they're probably playing Michigan at home. Probably Michigan's the whiteout.
Yeah, because I think they beat Michigan in the Big House this year.
Yeah. So and we went to Happy Valley.
Right, because
usually they rotate those. So
they get us at home, then they get Michigan at home the next year.
I wonder if that will be I wonder if Fox will at least do them I don't know what they're playing that game. If they will do them at least let that game be a night game. Let that ESPN get that game so that can be a night game. Fox big noon, Penn State, Michigan.
So we had talked about the big noon times and about the Oregon game. Now, so how do you feel though that the Oregon game is going to be a noon game, but then Michigan-Washington is going to be a primetime game on Fox?
Yeah, I didn't.
You cool with that, or is it like?
I mean, I know.
Is it the same weekend, or is Michigan opening against Washington? I wasn't sure.
I don't remember.
I can't remember now.
Big noon is their big game, and that's the point of it. They don't care if Michigan, Washington. They know they're going to get eyeballs on Michigan, Washington, but whoever ESPN's got the night game, whatever. But again, I understand what they're doing with Big Noon. They have the data that proves they're correct on Big Noon.
Right.
But I wish there would have been some sort of compromise that
should have been a night game.
4:00 at the late, at least. I mean, it was just, I just think especially, it's going to be so right. I mean, we're going back to normalcy in this country.
And that's the home opener for Ohio State too. I mean, that crowd would have been insane.
They could have had a big crowd, wild crowd, night game, 4:00 game, whatever. Either or, I think would have probably been a better selection. Again, I understand big noon. I understand what they're doing there. I understand that they have, again, data that can prove their proven points. And, it's going to be a highly rated game. It'll be the top game at noon. It might be the top game of the weekend,
Sure.
But, the 4:00 game might have been the top game at the weekend too. Same with an 8:00 game on Fox. I think Fox could play around some with Ohio State more than they think they can at times. And that's the only thing I wish they would maybe get through to them. I know you want big noon because you could put Ohio State, you can put Penn State, you can put Michigan, you can put Oklahoma, you can put Texas, you can put any of those teams against whoever they're playing. And because their fan bases and there's no other big games usually going on at noon that you can get other eyeballs.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a big rating. But I think you put Ohio State at 4, regardless of who's on CBS at 3:30, you could still get a lot of eyeballs in there. You're still going to get all the Ohio State fan bases, which Columbus usually rates top market every year for college football. So you're going to get that market and you're going to get whatever other eyeballs are going to look in, which you're going to get some. So, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. It'll still be all right though. It'll be all right.
I'll be watching it. I know that. I know all the rest of my Buckeye brethren will be watching it. So,
well, we're watching it regardless, so it doesn't matter.
They could kick that game off at 6 a.m. and I'd be watching it. I'd be up in time to watch it. So, all right. I think, again, fun show. We'll, post this stuff online once we get the stuff up and going.
Vote for Team John.
Yeah. Just try to remember back to, some of the recency bias and, don't think about Terrell Pryor in the NFL. Try to think of him with Urban as the head coach and, the freaky things that they could do.
Well, and that team has a lot more talent around him than he did with some of the Tressel teams too.
So, all right, we'll get on out of here with that.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for stopping in today at the Buckeye Bar. I'm John.
I'm Mike.
OH.
I-O.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's Buckeye Bar Guys on Buckeye Bar Talk. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that all notifications bell so you see when new content is added, and please remember to like and share so we can grow our audience. Don't be afraid to comment. We want to know what you're thinking, and we want to know what content to add for you guys. OH.
I-O.